Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. This week we are going to be doing a flow class with some fun, twisty, backwards transitions and some things that we haven't tried yet. So let's begin by sitting down on our mat. Finding a cross-leg position. If you'd like, you can find a stack to the knees, a lotus pose, or keep both feet down on the ground, knees above them. We'll take the hands to the knees, closing the eyes, taking a few big breaths here. With our next inhale, we'll circle the arms up overhead, reaching towards the ceiling. Exhale, bringing the hands down beside us. Inhale, reaching tall. Exhale, bringing the arms down. A couple of breaths like this, reaching, stretching out. With our next exhale, we'll drop one arm down to the mat beside us. Inhale, coming up and over the body. Cartwheeling the arms, switching sides. And back and forth a few times. Going back to center, we'll bring the hands back to the knees. With an inhale, lifting the chest, arching through the spine. Exhale, curling back, dropping the chin to the chest. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. Taking the arms back behind us. We'll inchworm the fingers a little further away from the body. With a nice big inhale, lifting the chest, pulling the shoulder blades into the spine, taking the eyes up. Exhale, rolling the shoulders forward. And we're going to take the hands out in front of us, rolling over the legs, taking the legs back behind, finding our tabletop here, pressing into the hands and into the knees, with an inhale, taking the eyes and the tailbone up. Exhale, curling in towards center, continuing back and forth with the breath. Coming back to our tabletop again. We'll take the hands one step further out in front of the body, dropping the chest towards the mat, sliding between the hands and lifting to a cobra. Exhale, softening the chest towards the mat, pressing down into the feet. A little bit of weight in the hands. Inhale, baby cobra again. Another breath in, baby cobra. Exhale to soften. We're going to bring the left knee up towards the body, toes parallel or legs parallel with each other. We can stay here pressing the hips into the ground, finding a half turtle pose or half frog pose. Or we can continue with our baby cobras. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale to soften. And with our next inhale, we'll roll over our right leg. So now we're facing the back of our mat. The left leg is crossing over the right, so foot is on the outside of our right leg. We're going to take our right arm and bring it to that left elbow, getting a little bit of a twist in here. Untwisting the body, taking the hands back around to our mat. We'll press up to a plank and send the left leg back. Spreading the fingertips out nice and wide, pressing down. We'll shift forward slightly. Elbows come into the rib cage, and with our exhale, we'll chaturanga to lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to soften. Right knee comes up towards the body again. Taking the legs parallel, we can pause to press down through the hips or continue with our cobra breath. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale to soften. Rolling over the left leg, sitting up towards the back of the mat. So we've got that cross over the leg again, taking the left arm to the outside of the knee, finding a little bit of a twist. Untwisting the body, taking the arms back around. Extending the right leg back behind plank pose. Shifting forward, chaturanga to lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, soften. Tucking the toes, pressing up and back, down dog. We'll pedal out through the legs, wiggling out through the hips. Bringing the feet one step closer in towards the hands. And another step closer. And then walking the rest of the way up towards the hands. Inhale, half high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching tall to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching tall to the ceiling. Exhale, hands heart center. Okay. Wiggling out through the legs a little bit. We'll find our mountain pose, stacking ankles under knees, under hips, picking up the toes, spreading them out wide, and setting them back down. Finding a little bit of a happy elephant side to side. And coming back through center with a nice big inhale, reaching tall to the ceiling. Exhale, hinging at the waist, forward fold. Inhale, half high. Exhale, fold. Dropping the chin towards the chest so the top of the head sinks down towards the floor. Grabbing for opposite elbows, find a little sway to the body. Inhale, finding a half high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching tall to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half high. Exhale, fold. Planting the hands down, stepping or hopping the feet back to our plank. Pressing down through the fingertips, spreading them out wide. Shifting forward. Elbows in, chaturanga lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to soften. Tucking the toes, pressing up and back, down dog. Wiggling out some more through the hips. So this time, we're dropping a knee down towards the mat, taking it across to the other leg, and coming back. So really finding a sway to the hips. Taking the left leg back behind the body and stepping it up to the hands. Full breath in, even larger breath back out. Dropping the right knee down towards the mat with an inhale, sitting tall. We'll take the arms up to the ceiling, shifting the hips forward, low lunge. Sending the hips back behind us, lengthening out through the front legs, softening the chest. Half splits. Making our way back and forth between our low lunge and our half splits, moving with the breath. Exhale to soften. Inhale to reach tall. Coming back to our low lunge, tucking the right toes under. We're gonna press up to our high lunge, holding here for a breath or two. Taking the arms back around the body, interlocking the fingers or grabbing for opposite wrists or elbows. Hugging the shoulder blades into the spine with an inhale, we'll lift the chest tall. And releasing the arms. And back to our warrior one. With our exhale, we're gonna lengthen out through the front leg, folding forward. I like to have my back leg fully on the ground for this, so you can turn the toes at a 45-degree angle, or you can keep that back foot floating. But we're gonna soften towards the leg, and then reach tall to the ceiling, back and forth with the breath. If you'd like, with our inhale, we can make our way back to our warrior one as well, or we can keep the leg long the whole time. Moving the knee back and forth does add another element of balance, or we can keep the leg long. And back to our neutral warrior one. Say hi to the kitty. Extending out through the front leg again. Holding here. Keeping a micro bend in that front knee. Reaching tall to the ceiling. Putting the bend back into the front knee. We're gonna shift even further forward, holding here, putting most of our weight into that left foot. And dropping the hands down, sending that left leg back to our plank. Shifting forward slightly, elbows in, chaturanga lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, soften. Tucking the toes up and back, down dog. Taking the right leg back behind us. And stepping those toes forward. Full breath in. Even larger breath back out. We'll drop the left knee down, releasing the toes. Inhale, lifting tall. Shifting forward, low lunge. And again, back and forth between our low lunge and our half splits. Back to our low lunge, tucking those left toes under, lifting tall to our warrior one. Extending out through the front leg, exhale, folding forward. Inhale to lift back up. Option to bend into the knee or keep it long. Extending back up towards the ceiling, extending out through the front leg, holding here. Micro bend to the front and to the back knees. Good, bringing the arms down. Bending back into that front foot. We're gonna shift all the way forward, so we're using mainly our front foot to hold our weight. Circling the arms down towards the floor, sending that right leg back towards our plank. Shifting forward. Chaturanga lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, soften. And we'll hold here for a second. Bringing the left knee up towards the body for our half frog pose again. Pressing down into the floor. If you'd like, we can do through our cobra breaths again. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale to soften, or we can hold here, pressing the hip toward the ground. Rolling over our right leg. This time, taking the left leg to the outside or to the inside of our leg. So we are now feet in line with the hips. Pulling that leg up towards the body. We're gonna fold forward. So this foot, I like to push it out a little bit further, pressing the foot into the ground. It makes it a little bit easier for my hips to get through, to reach for that foot. We can also drop this leg completely out of our way and fold forward. Whatever's feeling right to you today. With our inhale, we'll roll up the spine. Taking the right foot, the left foot to the outside of our right foot, bringing the hands around, extending the left leg back behind us. Back to our plank, pressing down through the hands and through the toes. Shifting forward. Chaturanga lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to soften. Bringing the right knee up towards the body. Again, option to go through breath work here or to just press down through the hip. Rolling over our left leg. We'll take the right leg to the outside or to the inside of our leg, outside of our mat. So again, option to fold from here, taking the foot out a little further, reaching for those left toes. Or we can drop the foot out of the way completely. Or we can take that foot to the outer edge. Reach forward first, circle the arms around, and find a little bit of a bind or reach for a bind behind us. With an inhale, rolling up the spine. Bringing the arms around back to our plank. Walking the hands one step closer towards the feet, sending the hips up and back behind us. Walking the hands another step closer towards the feet, sending the hips up and back behind us. Walking the hands the rest of the way in towards the feet. Inhale, half high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching tall to the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half high. Exhale, fold. Walking the hands out to our plank. Shifting forward, chaturanga lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, soften. And back to our down dog. Left leg reaches back behind the body. And then up towards the hands. Full breath in. Even larger breath back out. Pressing down through the feet. Inhale, warrior one. With our next exhale, we'll find some humble warriors. We're gonna find 3 humble warriors. Exhale, bringing the chest to the inside of the thigh, taking the arms up and around. Inhale, lifting the body back up. 2 more like this. Exhale to soften. Inhale to lift. 1 more. Inhale to lift. Extending out through the front leg, dropping the back heel. Exhale, folding towards that left leg. Putting the bend back into the left, shifting further forward. Using the left leg, pressing us back up. And then we'll pivot open for a warrior 2. Pressing down through the outside edges of the feet to help us roll out, keeping long across the front or side of the body. With an inhale, taking the front arm up and over, reaching behind us. Exhale, cartwheeling the arms, taking the back arm up past the ear. And we'll flow back and forth with the breath. Coming back to our neutral warrior 2. This time we're going to take the arms behind us, doing the same kind of thing as before. So turning the chest in front of us as we lift up, softening towards the back leg. Turning around as we lift the chest behind us, softening towards that left leg. So we're keeping the chest up towards the ceiling, but finding a little bit of a rotation through the core, so we can always keep that chest up. Back to our neutral warrior 2. Cartwheeling the arms down, sending the left leg back behind us, and finding a plank pose again. Pressing down through the fingertips, Shifting forward, chaturanga lower. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, soften up and back. Down dog. Right leg extends back behind the body. Up towards the hands. Full breath in. Even larger breath back out, pressing down through the feet. Inhale, warrior one. Same as the other side, 3 humble warriors on this side. Exhale, softening the chest. Pressing down through our right leg to lift us back up. And 2 more. And back to our warrior one, extending out through the front leg, dropping the back heel, folding forward. Shifting all the way forward, bending into that right leg, pressing back up and rotating open, warrior two. Taking the front palm up to the ceiling, back and forth between our dancing warriors. Back to our neutral warrior two again. Taking the arms back behind the body. And we'll find our variation to our dancing warriors. Taking the chest up to the ceiling in front of us. Turning, rotating, and lifting the chest behind us. Back and forth, finding that rotation through the core. And less through the shoulders. Back to our neutral warrior two. Cartwheeling the arms down towards our right leg, sending the leg back behind us, plank pose. Shifting forward, chaturanga lower. Inhale to cobra. And back to our down dog. Pedaling out through the legs some more. Wiggling out through the hips. We'll bring the hands one step closer in towards the toes. Sending the hips up and back behind us. Putting a bend to the knees. We'll find our bear pose, hovering here. And dropping the knees the rest of the way down. Untucking the toes. With an inhale, taking the eyes and the tailbone up to the ceiling, dropping the stomach. Exhale, curling through the spine, arching up, back and forth with the breath. And back to our tabletop. We're gonna barrel roll the chest, dropping it down, shaking it out, lifting up, rotating around in big looping circles. Switching directions, looping around in the other way. And back to center again. We can either find a full frog pose or a wide-legged child's pose from here. So taking the knees to the outer edges of the mat. The difference here between these two poses are whether our big toes are in to touch or whether the legs are parallel. So if we're in a wide-legged child's pose, we're softening the chest down, taking the tailbone behind us and resting here. And if we're finding a frog pose, we're gently pressing down through the hips. We can still find some rest here, but we're doing a little bit more of an active stretch because we're holding ourselves up in this pose. And with our exhales, we're focusing on softening a little bit more. An inhale, lifting the chest back up. We'll bring the legs in so they touch from the knees all the way back to the big toes, sitting on the heels. Taking a few big breaths here. We're going to take one or both hands to the chest. With an inhale, lifting the chin up towards the ceiling. We don't want to drop the head all the way back, so a little bit of control extending out through the crown of the head, but lifting the chin up. I'll drop the left ear over towards the left shoulder slightly. Back through center. Taking the right ear towards the right shoulder. And back through center. Nice and slow, bringing the chin back to a more neutral level so the eyes are straight forward. We can leave the hands on the chest. We can leave one hand on the chest, drop them both down, or we can take one hand to the back of the head. With our exhale, we're going to drop the chin towards the chest. Again, not pressing it down, just adding a little pressure. Left ear towards the left shoulder. Back through center. Right ear towards the right shoulder. And back through center. And again, nice and slow, bringing the eyes back to a neutral spot. We'll take the hips over to one side, circling the legs around the body, taking the legs out in front. Giving the legs a nice wiggling out. And then we're going to bring them in towards the body, taking them to the outer edges of the mat and finding a little bit of a windshield wipering here. Taking both knees back up. They're not all the way out, but they're lifted up and there's a little bit of space for our chest with our exhale. I'll soften the chest forward, dropping the chin to the chest. And then an inhale, we'll roll the body back up and let it go all the way down to the mat. Keeping the knees up to the ceiling and finding a little bit bigger of windshield wipers back and forth. Taking the knees back up to the ceiling, lifting the hips up off the mat, rolling them forward and setting it back down. So we've gotten rid of the space in the low back. We'll take the legs up to the ceiling. We can either wrap the arms around the legs, holding them here, or we can take the legs up and take the arms up as well, finding a dead bug. We're going to extend the right leg up towards the ceiling and drop it all the way down to the mat in front of us. Bringing the left leg in for a big hug to the chest. And then taking that left leg across the right side of our body, finding a real gentle twist, keeping both shoulder blades down on the mat. Guiding that left knee back in for another big hug to the chest. Taking the left leg up towards the ceiling, exchanging out the leg, bringing the right knee in for a big old hug. And then across the left side of the body. Again, a real gentle twist, keeping both shoulder blades on the mat. Bringing the right leg back in for another big hug to the chest. I'll bring the left back up as well, hugging both in. You can either keep the head all the way down on the mat or tuck the chin, rolling in tight to a ball. Finding a little rocking side to side. And releasing the body. Allowing yourself to find a comfortable spot to take a few moments rest here. Moving into our Savasana. Getting as comfortable as you can. We'll close the eyes. Taking a large breath in through the nose. Releasing it out as a sigh. Take a little while to lay here, to focus on the breath and focus on the stillness we can find in a pose. Seeing if we can make our exhales twice as long as our inhales, fully releasing the breath back out. Noticing how at the end of an exhale, the body naturally wants to soften. Letting it do so. Another large breath in through the nose. We'll release it out as a sigh. Inviting some movement into the body, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. We're gonna walk the legs over towards our left side. Taking the arms overhead, walking them over towards the left side. Coming back through center. Walking the legs over towards the right side and the arms over as well. And back to center again. Rolling to one side. We'll take our moment of gratitude here. Thanking yourself for coming to your mat today, for taking this time to pause, to reset, to recharge. Go ahead and give yourself a big mental hug, and we'll make our way back to seated. Slowly blinking the eyes open, finding a nice tall seat. We'll drop one hand to the mat beside us, taking the other up and over the body. Cartwheeling the arms, switching sides. Back and forth a few more times. And back to center. Dropping the hands to the knees with an inhale, lifting the chest, arching the spine. Exhale, pressing the spine behind us, dropping the chin to the chest. Inhale, lifting tall. Exhale, rolling in. Making our way back to our seat. We'll close the eyes one last time. Taking another large breath in through the nose. With our exhale, releasing it out as a sigh. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love and light. Namaste.